Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Currently, for the first time in 6 years, we have Star Wars movies in development for real. And yes, we've had 4 million different projects announced, greenlit, and then canceled, like Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron film. We had the Benioff and Weiss series of films that they were going to do that took place in the Old Republic. We had Rian Johnson's trilogy he was going to do. We had Taika Waititi's film he was going to do. We have James Mangold's film he was going to do. We have Daisy Ridley coming back. We had all these things get brought up, but nothing ever came to fruition. And then they finally gave Jon Favreau the green light to go ahead and make the season 4 of The Mandalorian and Grogu and turn it into a live action film to close out the series. And although I am excited about that film, it does kind of feel like we're just getting a glorified season of TV adapted into a movie with a little bit bigger of a budget. It doesn't feel big in scope the way a Star Wars film should. And then our knight in shining armor came out of the woodworks. Sean Levi, who did Deadpool and Wolverine, The Adam Project, Free Guy, Real Steel. He produced a bunch of episodes of Stranger Things. This guy is the real deal, and he got hired by Kathleen Kennedy to come in and do a Star Wars project, and then it was announced that he cast Ryan Gosling in that movie, and it was going to be called Star Wars Starfighter. And a lot of people think it might be like a Han Solo type film where he's playing like a scoundrel with a pistol and not so much a Jedi. Some people thought he was going to be a Jedi. I mean, yes, it's called Starfighter, but that could mean anything. That could just be a warrior amongst the stars in the galaxy. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a pilot, but then they released some images of it recently showing off the aesthetic and the look of it, and he looks effortlessly cool. Ryan Gosling was in my favorite film last year of The Fall Guy, and over the last couple of years, he's quickly risen to be one of my most prominent favorite actors. I love this transition that he took, going away from the weird artsy movies like Lars in the Real World and Drive, which I loved, but I was getting sick of that quiet stoicness he was doing, and now he's entered this action comedy phase of his life, and I think he's found this groove where this is my favorite I've ever seen him. He was in Barbie as Ken, The Fall Guy, he was in The Gray Man, which he was a lot more serious in that, but he also had a lot more fun in terms of the range of action he was able to do, doing his own stunts and the hand-to-hand combat in that film. And although a lot of people didn't like it, I actually really liked The Gray Man. And I'm excited to see him tackle this family adventure project because he plays the swashbuckling action hero so well, and he has such good comedic timing. And I've seen a lot of people talking about, between the two films, which one is going to be the bigger hit. And genuinely, and I'm not just saying this because I love Ryan Gosling and Sean Levi, but I do think it is going to be The Last Starfighter. I think that The Mandalorian Season 3 soured a lot of people. I'm still going to watch this movie, and I still watched through all of The Mandalorian Season 3, but they tried doing this thing where they made the two characters we've been following for years in the first 2 seasons with The Mandalorian and Grogu. They tried taking them and sidelining them and passing the mantle onto Bo-Katan, and it didn't work. This wasn't a Bo-Katan show, and they tried making the excuse, oh, well, this is called The Mandalorian, not Jin and Grogu, and it's like, okay, fair, but then you should have introduced Bo-Katan all the way back in the beginning as one of the main characters if you wanted to give her the main heart of the story in Season 3, because we've been following Jin and Grogu for the last 20 episodes, and now it's just like, oh yeah, they're sidelined, here's Bo-Katan, she's the main lead now, and it's like, no, we don't care, she did not earn being here. I understand she was a popular character in the Clone Wars, but if you make a season of a show for $300 to $400 million and you need it to be super successful, don't make the main character based off of a character in a cartoon that 2% of the overall population of the world watched. The people that watched the Star Wars cartoons are fans of Star Wars, but the reason why Star Wars has been so successful is because it's been a 4-quadrant set of films where families that aren't diehards or nerds can go and enjoy it. Not a lot of people on the planet watched the cartoons, so it was a big ask. I didn't watch the cartoon, I didn't care about Bo-Katan, I was really put off by it. They turned a lot of people off. Out of all of my friends, all 10, 12, whatever, I'm the only one that still cares to see this movie. And that doesn't sound like a lot in the grander scheme of things when I talk about how, oh, it's just 10 people that I know that don't want to watch it anymore. But that's just one group of friends. Imagine how many other groups of people were like, this show sucks, I don't care about seeing a season 4 now brought into a movie. And I think that that's going to hurt it. The thing that it has going for it is that Jon Favreau is the one directing it, and he kind of started this all with Dave Filoni, where he kind of created the character. He's also done The Jungle Book, The Lion King. He kickstarted the MCU with Iron Man. So if anyone's going to be able to land this ship in a successful way, it's Jon Favreau. And I'm excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see these characters again. They are the main focus. Bo-Katan is nowhere to be found, at least not in any of the marketing or the press for the film. So I do think that it's going to win back over some people, but I do think that there are a lot of people that also, even if I'm not even talking about the people that watch the first 2 seasons, I'm talking in general, hundreds of millions of people go and see the movies. A couple million people watch the show. If people see the trailer for this and they realize that it's a continuation of a show they haven't watched, this movie is not going to do well at the box office. And I think I've always thought it was a colossal mistake to put $200-300 million behind this movie when they're only probably going to make $200-300 million at the box office. Now there's a chance, it's not impossible for it to make money and blow up if it's so good that word of mouth carries it, but I think that this movie is actually gonna flop, if I'm being honest, not from a quality standpoint, but from a financial standpoint. I think the edge goes to The Last Starfighter because it's a new story. It takes place 5 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. It's new characters in a new section of the galaxy far, far away that's going to introduce us to new planets, new alien species, maybe new weapons, new bad guys, new villains, new motives, new heroes. It's giving us a story about this, whether it be a fighter pilot or a scoundrel, helping protect this kid while they go on an adventure across the galaxy. It's a family-friendly, swashbuckling action adventure in a Star Wars universe, and it feels fresh, and it feels new, and it's following this trend of reluctant dads taking care of children that people love right now. Look at The Mandalorian and Grogu, the first 2 seasons people loved. The Last of Us, it's a popular trend to have this older grizzled guy take after this kid, and that's what we're getting in this. And again, it's all new stuff. You do not have to go into it seeing anything else. And I think that people still love Star Wars. They're just sick of the mundane redundancy and the repetitiveness that we've been getting, where Star Wars The Force Awakens was literally just a rehash of A New Hope. It was pretty much the same story, just with a girl instead of a guy. Like, people loved that first one because it was exciting to be back in the Star Wars world after 20 years, but now people are starting to realize that we never left Tatooine. We stayed in the same small section of the galaxy that the Skywalkers took place in, and I understand why they did that from like a financial standpoint and a company standpoint, because people love Luke Skywalker, but now people are sick of it and they want something new. And if this franchise is going to thrive, if it's going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix, it needs to bring us to a new part of the galaxy and introduce us to new people. They say it's in a galaxy far, far away. Let's get stories that are a billion light years away from anything that took place in the Skywalker saga. Let's set up new arcs and new characters. That way you could introduce all these new things without it breaking canon to the Skywalker stuff. And because of all this, I think that people are hungry for fresh Star Wars, and that's what the Starfighter movie is going to give us. So I think that the Starfighter movie is actually going to be hugely successful, not just because it's fresh Star Wars, but Sean Levy, who, like I said before, has done Deadpool and Wolverine, made $1 billion. He's produced arguably one of the biggest shows on the planet in Stranger Things. All of his other movies are very well received. Everyone loves Sean Levy. He knows how to make a movie that hits you in the feels and brings the heart, and also has great action, and he has a great sense of awe and wonder and adventure. He's in good graces with people. So not only do people love Sean Levi and they're going to show up just to see what he does, they also love Ryan Gosling. He's a huge action star right now, and it's also something fresh in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, I do think that that movie is going to beat the brakes off of The Mandalorian and Grogu. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this movie is going to do good? Do you think The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to do better? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.